Hi everyone, welcome back to the HUBient Talent channel. This is Stella Bella. I hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's and that you've actually taken some time out to enjoy yourselves and have a little bit of a relaxation and rest period, because it is important to use the opportunity to recharge our batteries. Today I'm going to be talking about something we probably have been thinking about now for a while, or maybe have already started, which is New Year's resolutions. So I know a lot of us tend to use the new year as a way to start afresh. So throughout the year we may have certain goals that we want to just push to next year because we don't really want to think about it too much right now. We put it in the too hard basket, but the new year is when we're going to make it happen. Or some of us might have just overindulged over the holiday period, thinking that the new year is where it's all going to change. So diet starts tomorrow. But now that the holiday period is well and truly over and we are into the new year now, it's time to start thinking about those New Year's resolutions and perhaps whether or not they actually work. So today I'll be talking about New Year's resolutions, why they don't work, and what actually is the best way to approach New Year's resolutions, or more specifically goal setting, so that we actually achieve our goals. Now, first of all, let's talk about how we normally approach New Year's resolutions. Some of us do it right and we can actually carry it out for a long period of time. But research has actually shown that 62% of New Year's resolutions are actually given up after the first month. Why is that? Now, if we think about what happens when we set New Year's resolutions, generally it's because we've put something in the too hard basket, right? There's a goal we want to achieve, but we want it to start fresh. We wanted to push it back to a later time. And it seems the new year is the time to do it. New year, fresh start, all of that. Now, whatever feelings we had when we set the goals, but didn't actually want to achieve it yet, when New Year's come, we still feel the same. We still don't really want to do anything about it just yet. But we have no excuse now because we said, hey, New Year's resolution, it's got to happen now, right? So then we try to push ourselves to the max, saying, well, New Year's is here. I'm going to do everything I can to achieve this goal within 2 weeks. And usually when we have a New Year's resolution, it's never anything small. It's never the small steps it takes to achieve a goal. It's always the big, massive goal. And we want to achieve it right now. When we think New Year's resolution, it's almost like we think we have a goal and we'll begin to achieve it in the new year and we'll finish achieving it in the new year. So then we place a lot of pressure on ourselves to get that dream body within a couple of weeks, to get that dream job within a month, to learn 3 languages and a whole new dance style within 3 or 4 weeks. Not achievable. So then we get disheartened. We start the process of achieving our goals. We don't see the results that we want fast enough, and then we give up. Now, that's not to say you should never set New Year's resolutions or goals in general. We just need to make sure we know how to do it properly and actually realistic about the whole process. So let's talk about how to set those goals correctly so that we can actually achieve them in the long term. First of all, when it comes to goal setting, it's important to think about the reasons why you're doing it. Not just the result you want to achieve, but what will your life look like afterwards? So think about the long term. So if you want to eat healthier, cleaner, you want to work out more, have a better body, that sort of thing, think about the reasons why. Think about what you imagine your life to look like once you've achieved that goal. Generally, when it comes to big lifestyle changes, like your diet, like your daily workout routines and that sort of thing, it's important to think about the lifestyle itself that you want to achieve, rather than just a portion of it. Yes, healthy eating means your body will be healthier. Yes, working out means you'll get a better body, whatever that may look like for you. But ultimately, what will your lifestyle look like afterwards? Is it because you want to be able to have better cardio health so you can run around with your children more and play with them without feeling short of breath? Is it because you want to actually build your self-confidence so that when you go to the beach or when you go out, you can wear a nice outfit without feeling like you're not really fitting it very well? Or is it because you've recently gone through some health issues and that's why you want to eat cleaner, be healthier, so that you increase your longevity and increase your health so that you can plan long-term goals or look after yourself a bit better? So once you start thinking about the deeper meaning behind your goal and the long-term effects of you achieving that goal and what that's going to look like, not just the aesthetics or the materialistic side of things, not just a small part of it, but think about the bigger picture as a whole. That will actually motivate you to achieve that goal no matter how long it takes. A lot of us, when we're trying to achieve goals that are more on the superficial or the aesthetic side of things, we start getting disheartened because we don't see it. So when we want to change our body shape, it takes a long time for that to happen. And when we don't see a six-pack in a week, or we don't see better biceps or more muscles, we start getting disheartened. Same thing if we're trying to eat healthy and we're trying to do it for superficial reasons, like we want better skin or we want to lose weight. And if we don't see that immediately, we get disheartened. But if you want to think about the long-term goals of why you're achieving that, and the deeper meaning behind that, even if you don't see the results in the short term, you will still be driven by that long-term goal. It is a goal that's worth achieving because you've identified a deeper meaning behind that goal. And even if you don't see results straight away, you will start telling yourself that, no, my health is important. I want to be able to run around with my kids and grandkids one day. So I need to start looking after myself now and be better to myself and start eating healthier and being more active. And eventually, because you're not thinking about the aesthetic side of things and focusing on that and the immediate changes, and you're starting to think about the long-term goals, eventually you'll start doing all the things to achieve that goal without even realizing it. Eventually, you will start noticing a difference. It may not be month 3, 4, or 5, but maybe month 6 you'll start noticing a difference. And by the end of the year, you might have actually achieved that goal. And you might think, oh gosh, a year is a bit long. But if you think about it, if you were just seeing it as a New Year's resolution and had given up in the first month, you wouldn't have achieved it in a year's time anyway. And chances are, come November or December the following year, you're going to set yourself the same New Year's resolution as you've set the year before, because it was never achieved. Now, another thing that you should consider when you're thinking about New Year's resolutions and goal setting in general is to not only give yourself a realistic deadline, but also some realistic steps that you are going to actively take to achieve those goals. Now, I know a lot of us tend to be very vague when we talk about our New Year's resolutions. For example, I'm going to go to the gym more in the new year, or I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to focus more time on myself. Now, when you say things like more or less of something, it's not really measurable. There's no quantity to it. And when you can't measure your actions, you can't measure your progress. And again, you'll end up giving up because you'll feel like you've tried so hard and you've done everything and nothing seems to work. But if you're able to lay out all the steps that you're planning on taking to actually achieving the goals, for example, if you want to cut back on junk food, then maybe have something measurable, like I'm only going to eat unhealthy once a week or twice a week. Something that is realistic and doable for yourself, that isn't going to drive you completely insane, especially to start with. You can always start slow and small and then move up, but something that you can actually do. And then for the rest of the week, you'll eat healthy. So you're giving yourself a smaller goal in the meantime of eating fatty foods maybe just twice a week in order to achieve the bigger goal. So you're breaking down your big goal into little steps, little smaller goals that you can actually action easier. So when you do achieve that, so you've gone a week of eating healthy and then you have a cheat day or two, you'll actually feel accomplished. You'll actually feel like you're already starting to achieve that goal. And that way you can actually measure your progress. After 3 or 4 weeks of doing this, let's see if it made a difference. Let's see if you're closer to achieving your goals. It's not only important to be able to measure your progress towards this big, massive goal we tend to set ourselves, but it's also important to be able to reward ourselves with the smaller things that we do, the tiny steps that we take, because they are worth celebrating. It's not just about getting the big, huge goal. Even the little steps towards that goal can be quite hard for some of us, and it's worth celebrating, it's worth appreciating and acknowledging that as we go. Another way to ensure that you actually achieve your New Year's resolutions is to make sure you don't compare yourself to anyone else. I know it's easy, especially if you're with a group of friends who have the same New Year's resolution and you set out to try to do the same thing, and they all seem to be achieving their goals so much faster than you. Remember that everybody is different. Everyone has different commitments, different lifestyles, even different motivations for their goals. Even though you might all have what seems to be the same goal, their reasons, their deeper meaning behind the reason why they want to achieve that goal could be entirely different to yours. And maybe something is driving them to be a lot more proactive with theirs. And because of that, they're shuffling their schedule around, they're prioritizing it, and they're also taking some things out of their lives so that they can prioritize this goal. But if you're not able to do that, if you don't want to give it the same priority, that's totally fine. Your goals are your goals, and it's important not to compare yourself to anybody else and just focus on yourself. And the only thing you should be comparing is your progress today compared to your progress yesterday or last week or last year. And one final thing that I want to say about goal setting and New Year's resolutions is that if you don't achieve it within the time frame that you set out to, don't be too hard on yourself. While you may want to focus on your New Year's resolutions, life has other plans, and that's perfectly fine. It's important to prioritize your life and think about what is important. And if learning that new language or taking up art or piano or achieving a better body is not priority in your life right now, because you have other more important things to do, that is totally fine. It's important to remember that amongst responsibilities that you have to do in life, sometimes you just want to sit and not do anything at all. And if you have those moments where you just want to sit back and do nothing because you don't want to work, you don't want to achieve goals, you don't want to learn languages, you just want to relax, that is fine, because that in itself is an important part of taking care of yourself and your health and well-being. Every little bit counts when it comes to achieving any goal. As long as you're clear about what that goal actually is, the deeper meaning behind it, and you have a clear plan with clear actions, the little steps that you're going to take to achieve that goal, you'll achieve your goal in no time without you even noticing. And that's all from me for today, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I wish you the best of luck with your New Year's resolutions and goal setting. If you've got any comments or suggestions of some methods that actually work for you when it comes to New Year's resolutions, please pop them down below. I would love to hear them. Do follow the HUBient Talent channel on social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and do follow me on social media as well. My Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook is stellabella.au. I would love to hear from you there, so drop me a line, let me know what topics you'd like to hear from me next, or if you've had any experiences with any of the topics I've talked about in the past. I hope you've all had a great holiday season, and I hope you have an amazing 2022. I'll see you next time. Bye.